Welcome to my WOW Chats, words of wisdom with people I honor, love, respect, and whose work is in line with making this world a better place. And I have here with me, if you don't know her, Dr. Uma Dinsmore-Tuli. Is it Tuli? Did I say that right?
Uma Dinsmore-Tuli, yeah.
And you are a yoga therapist, you're an educator, you have several books.
5.
And you talk a lot about our yonis, Shakti power, and Shakti, Yoni Shakti. Your recent book is really about gaining power and freedom. And we just had a lovely, lovely dinner, and with Layla Stewart, who's recording for us. Thank you, Layla. The three of us had some really beautiful chats, especially about women and women's health and empowerment. And can you just give some people your thoughts and words of wisdom on, like, does more power give you more freedom? Does more freedom give you more power? Or you can change the question to something you write about. Like,
it does make sense, because the point is that I think people misunderstand what freedom is, which is the freedom to like do whatever you like, whenever you like, with no respect for consequences. But my sense of real freedom comes from a deep sense, especially for women, of being in the kind of connected relationship with reality, with the earth, with the other people around us, with all the creatures that live here, with life. And if you're in a relationship with life that's respectful and honoring how she moves through us as women, then that's a huge power. Not power that you get a hold of to make it do what you want to do and achieve your ambitions and whatever, no matter what. That's a really linear kind of idea of taking hold of the power. Whereas I think for women, part of the way of living in a female body is that there are cycles and changes, and these things are powerful, and they can make us feel like we're not free, because that power is unpredictable sometimes, or difficult to handle, or inconvenient, or not how it seems. It's messy, or but actually when we let that power move through us and respect us, that's real freedom, because then we're free to be who we really are. That's the freedom to be who we really are, so we don't have to pretend that we've got everything under control. And then you get loads more energy, because what a word for Shakti means energy and power. And so it's like when you let go of this massive tension that every woman on the planet lives under, which is like somehow we're not right, we're not good enough, that we do the wrong thing, our bodies are messy and bloody, and they leak and they change, and just when you think you've got a handle on it, bang, along comes menopause. Or just when you think you've got a handle on, oh, my cycles are like this, then it changes for something else. And so when we acknowledge the huge force of that power, and we let it move through us, like, there's grace there. And then there's real freedom, because we don't have to pretend to be like we're like a man.
oh my gosh.
We get to be who we really are.
Yeah,
And that, like, it's almost like when you do that, you're like, oh, phew, I can relax. I'm just me. I'm just like this. This is what it's like to be in this female body. And there's a million different ways to do it. I'm not saying we will have to be one thing or another. Just saying that when we see that those cycles are always going to be there, then we can, it's like you let go of fighting that battle. Think of all the energy we have.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to pretend like we're someone else, like we're really always going to be the A student at the front, everything's going to be fine. We're just like, I'm sorry today. It's not that way. It doesn't mean you're a flake or you're unreliable. It means you're honest.
I love that, how you bring power and freedom together. Like, that's beautiful.
Because how can you be free if you're disempowered?
Yeah.
And yet if you think you're free, but actually you're, in fact, that freedom is some kind of construct that's really not actually who you are. You're free to be somebody else. You're free to be like, the girl next door, or the man up there, or whatever kind of corporate vision of your work pattern or career or family life is. Then that's no freedom at all.
Yeah.
But actually, when you have really, and if you think you're empowered by like using your power to control everything about yourself, so you never let the side down.
Oh, that's
good.
Yeah.
Then that isn't freedom either.
Yeah, because I think we do that, right?
Like, it's okay, I've got everything under control. Like, that's part of why it's maybe so attractive to people to have certain kinds of contraception that eradicate the menstrual periods altogether. But that's no freedom at all, because you miss the highs and you miss the lows. You miss the deep, sexy kind of arousal that comes at ovulation, and you miss the deep surrender into vision that comes at the other end, and you're just like occupying somewhere that isn't free at all because it has no power. It's like you're just in a holding pattern that cuts you off. It's fundamentally about root connection. So if our roots go down like this, then you tap. It's not our power. Like you learn to get out of the way. Like she's always right. That kind of power.
Your way.
Get out of your own way. Like when I see big powers moving through women, like birthing powers or menopause or transitions or adolescence or something like, you can see that if you try and fight that stuff, you get worn out by it. She's gonna win anyway. Like you're not gonna not go into menopause. You're not gonna not bleed as a girl. You're not. It's just those things are gonna happen to us. So we might as well like
and that's
gracefully.
Such a yogic.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. That's such a yogic concept. So you said gracefully.
Yeah.
We're allowed to just gracefully embrace,
surrender. And also a sense that surrendering into allowing that power to move through you. And it's not all about birth, but birth's a really big thing that happens to some women. And what you see there is like writ very large is this incredible way of understanding about what happens if you resist power. Because the baby's going to get out at some point. So you go with that and you allow that power to move through you, and then that power empowers you because you've let her move through you. It's like creativity. It's the same thing. You can't get a hold of it and be creative every day of your life. It moves in cycles. Anyone who ever has made it
does.
Like some days you wake up and you're on fire, like I got a million ideas and I got to write it down. You'll be the moon cycles. Even if you're not talking about menstruation, you're just talking about the creative process. The freedom to be truly creative is actually allowing that power to move through you without like hanging on to it. You can't turn out the same thing every day. I mean, you can have a routine of trying to write every day. I'm a writer, but like, you know, sometimes it changes and you need to do different things, but I don't know. So
I love it.
I don't know if I want to say any more about power and freedom, but
that's good. These are, I didn't even tell you, she didn't know the question, and you don't even know anything about these. They're quick little candid comments. This is perfect. That's perfect. Now, how are you doing, Layla, with holding it? You got 45 seconds in you?
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you, so you got to catch your plane, and I do want to make this short. I don't want to rush you though, but do you have any, for the listeners, like any, I don't say quick, that just rushes it, but do you have a practice or like something to help with embrace or cultivate that empowerment or cultivate that freedom, something?
The simplest and the most profound bridge between like the mind, emotions, and the body is our breath. And if you're alive, you're breathing. So we all have breath, and that's power of life coming and going. So that's a really classic, simple way, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're having to breathe. So bring your conscious awareness to the breath. Notice what the breath is doing, and sometimes you notice really anxious or really short or like, I'm in a balanced place. And I just think cultivating a balance in breath, and people do it in different ways. You can count. I'm not big into counting. I'm not great at counting. So I often put a little mantra on the breath or just an affirmation. Yes, the breath is going out now, about 6 seconds. Yes, the breath is coming back in now. And I use mantras that allow me to connect with power. I breathe in, Om Namah Shivaya, up to here. I breathe out, down into the earth. Om Para Shakti Namaha. And that literally means Om, I honor the supreme power of life herself. So with every exhale, I'm hearing Om Para Shakti Namaha, breathing out through my feet down into the ground, even if you're airplane up very high. So if you're but if you're in pain, if you're heartbroken, if things are not going, it's not a good day, you just take 3 or 4 breaths, and if you can do like a few minutes of that conscious breathing, it's simple as that, makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Perfect.
You're not going to stop breathing, you're not going to hold of it and hang on to it, you're just going to let the breath come in, you're just being conscious awareness with it, and like everything changes.
And you can do that anywhere, anytime. No one has to know you're doing it. You can even do it. Just repeat it silently to yourself. Words of wisdom. Uma Dinsmore-Tuli. I love you. I love you. This is fabulous. Thank you so much. I love you. I love you. Yeah, that's great. This is great. Thanks for watching this WOW Chat with Dr. Uma Dinsmore-Tuli. Check out some of her phenomenal work below and some of my other WOW Chats with other people I admire and respect and whose work is in line with making this world a better place.